Welcome back. With us now, Sanjeev Goenka, Kiran Mazumdar Shaw and Shivendra Mohan Singh. Thank you all so much for being with us. Sanjeev, let me just start off by getting your take on the budget. We've had some time now to look at some of the fine print. What to you are the hits and misses?
You know, quite honestly, I think the finance minister started off by saying that it's a statement of direction, it's a statement of accounts, it's a statement of intent. Much walks the talk. There is now a clear roadmap for taxation going forward. He is clearly expressing his intent to do away with taxes which lead to exemptions and add to cost of collection and lead to discretionary litigations. He's said that there's going to be investments in ports, roads, rail, power. He has repealed or said that he's going to repeal acts like SICA, which are outdated, and replace them with modern bankruptcy laws. He has talked about the need that he's going to do away with prior approvals for investments and replace it with a regulatory framework. So I think in terms of simplification of taxation, in terms of ease of doing business, the monetization of the gold bonds, there are many features.
Right.
So I read this very well, very positively.
Right, Sanjeev. I think we're having some trouble with your audio to you. We'll just try and get that fixed and come back to you in a second. Shivendra, if I can go to you, if there's one set. Actually, before I come to you, Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, I know you have to leave us, so let me just come to you first. Your take on the budget? What do you think are the highlights and what would you have liked to have seen being done differently?
First and foremost, I think the finance minister's budget speech was very compelling. He gave you the impression that he has actually met everyone's expectations in a very broad way. I would like to really read the fine print because I think now it's about delivery. And I'm being very realistic, and the analogy I'd like to use is that the finance minister has cracked open the sluice gates a little, to a much greater extent, and I think the flows will really start. Over time, basically we are going to be prepared that in the next 3 years you will see some real positive outcomes of what he started today. Some of the things that I've been very pleased to hear is about his investment in the entrepreneurship and startup sector, and I also welcome his announcement on the bankruptcy law, because this is really required in this country to revive the economy and to make sure that a lot of the companies that have gone bankrupt, these sick industries now need to find a very different way of being kick-started. Secondly, I also think that a lot of the announcement he's made on simplifying rules, addressing ease of doing business, doing away with unnecessary regulations, I think that will actually also bring in a lot more positive investor sentiments. I know the markets right now are not responding too well because I think everyone's trying to digest everything that the finance minister has said, and maybe some of the big expectations of big tax incentives or whatever hasn't yet happened. But I think basically the stage is set. I think the government is very clear that if they really don't start implementing and acting on their manufacturing agenda, the infrastructure agenda, the job creation agenda and the innovation agenda, I haven't yet seen what he really means in terms of incentivizing innovation, because I need to read the fine print. But he's made all these statements. Now we really need to read those annexures to know what it means.
Okay.
And until then, I'm unable to really comment in a very granular way.
Right. Shivinder, if I could get you in on that part. One place where, I mean, certainly the healthcare sector should be really pleased, because we are hearing a lot, instead of just having doles, he's talking a lot about health insurance, about how you can make sure there's a proper social net, make sure that you know, people have the ability to pay for the health. And so your response to that, the way he is recasting, in a sense, looking after the poorest of the poor.
Well, Vikram, like I've said before on your channel as well, I think it's very important for every individual to have a health insurance. It's a social security net at a time when you actually have no clue when it's going to hit you. And when it does, it can debilitate you financially, emotionally and physically in a very significant manner. So whatever he's done on the tax incentives for health insurance, opening up ASI, which is a big gorilla currently for people who are very much at the bottom of the pyramid, and also creating a social security net, he's talked about a social security system. I think all are in very good direction in terms of taking care of the people at times when they really cannot handle the situation coming onto themselves. But if I was to look at the larger picture and talk about one big thing that I've taken away from this budget, it will be direction. I think what the budget has done this time, and that is really what I was looking for, was to give you a roadmap of what's going to happen over the next couple of years as this new government takes place. And I think they've laid it out pretty nice and clear. I think Mrs. Shaw and Mr. Goenka laid some points and emphasis around that. But I think the broad comment is that they've given us a very clear direction of what they expect, what they anticipate, and what they want to do, in which direction, so we can mold our lives as individuals and citizens around that.
Right. Sanjeev and Kiran, I want to get you both in on that also. Sanjeev, we know that there's a major investment bottleneck that's been taking place. Private sector companies not really been able to invest. Many of them are facing problems of being over-leveraged and indebtedness and issues like that. After this, do you really see the investment cycle getting kick-started?
Well, I think what it does is that it restores the confidence within India Inc. to invest. Now, individual companies may have the ability to invest or may not. That's a different matter. But I think there are enough companies with enough leverage potential and with enough fiscal solvency to be able to invest. There are enough companies who have appetite for growth. So to my mind, I think yes, the intent to invest will get very strongly resolved after this budget, and you will see investments. But let me clarify that investments do not happen overnight. From the time you decide to invest till the time you actually start investing in the ground, it's probably a year down the road.
Right. Kiran, let me get a quick final thought from you. We're about to go across to Mr. Jaitley as he is speaking right now. But let me get a quick thought from you, because I know you have to leave us.
Yeah, no, I just think that, you know, the budget was pretty positive. I think from a corporate India point of view, I think there was some very strong messaging given by the finance minister in terms of clarity of rules and regulations. And I think we all have to wait for the fine print. I mean, I think largely speaking, the government sounds very serious to deliver on this roadmap.
All right, we have to just quickly cut across to Arun Jaitley. Let's just say he is talking to a group of journalists and reporters on the thrust of the budget.